Good morning, real estate investors, and welcome to the only podcast that is 100% committed to helping you set yourself free through real estate investing. I'm your host, Scott Jelinek, the founder of the Master Investor Academy and the Freedom Accelerator program, and author of my best selling book, Work Just Gets in the Way of Making Money, and my brand new book, The Art of the Slow Flip. For anybody who has not read it yet, I am giving you a free copy. We have about 200 copies left that have already been printed. Just pay shipping and handling. You can get it just by going to slowflip.com. That's SLOWFLIP.com. And we will send it right on out to you. So today, I am going to have a guest on here who several people have already told me, get him on. I want to hear what he's doing. So the guest I have today is Joey Chinisi. Joey, how are you doing today?
Very good, very good. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you came on. So why does everyone ask for you to be on? Is we have a large group of people that are in our program, and Joey, I think by a long shot is the front runner in the amount of slow flips that you have and the amount you've been doing. So everybody's always asking, what is he doing different? How come he's got this many and how's this going on? And so I thought, what a great opportunity to have you on so we can ask you some questions yourself to see what it is you have going on and what you're doing differently. So first off, Joey, tell us about yourself and how long you've been doing real estate. What did you do prior to this, and what does your life look like?
All right, so my name is Joey. I'm 29. I've been in real estate for I think 6.5 years. I started going to Scott's seminar, and it's been great. Before that, I didn't really do anything. I got a degree in criminal justice from Tidewater Community College in Virginia Beach. I was a short stint as a police officer. They let me go, and I started doing my own business. It got me in some trouble. I did a year away out of in a law enforcement place, so I was gone for a year, aka prison. But after I got that, I got full time into real estate, and it's been absolutely game changer. So I focus on basically Scott's program, however, slightly different. So all I do is I don't do any marketing. I'm mainly just a networking guy. I post nonstop on Facebook, nonstop on Craigslist, and the leads is flowing to me. And that's really what I do. I'm just the marketing guy.
So one of the things I love about that, Joey, is everybody's always, we obviously teach marketing. We teach going direct mail and doing the internet and websites and SEO and all these different things. And then everybody is always asking, how is Joey getting all these deals? And because you get an unprecedented amount of deals. And it always comes down to, and I think your number one source, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is Facebook, correct?
Yep, Facebook and referrals.
And you kill it. And I always tell people, I said, I guarantee you, when I make a post, yours will be the first like. I said, I don't know how he does it because I see you, and it's not like you're sitting at a computer screen, but you are on it. And every time I see a house, also when I see a house listed that is slow flip worthy, you're always in the comments. I'm interested. And so that's obviously that's been working for you, and you've become a go-to guy for slow flips, either for you wholesale them to other people and buy them for yourself. And so let's cut to the end then. How many slow flips do you have right now as of today?
As of today, right now I'm at 85 and I have 3 more under contract.
85. So I just did a video and I think you were at 70 when I did it. Maybe.
It's been very busy.
So you are at 85 slow flips already, and holy crap. That is a lot of slow flips.
It's overwhelming for me because of 2021. I ended 2021 with 20 houses. I only had 20. Then we ended 22 with 40 houses. And it's only June right now. We're only halfway through this year, and I've already doubled my houses. And then I started with 40. I'm at 85 right now. So wow. I couldn't even imagine being where I'm at right now just 6 months ago. It's
insane.
It's been great.
But one thing I want to touch on is you're not paying for these houses. You're not using money, right? So tell us how.
Of these 45 houses I bought this year, I probably spent no more than like $15,000 out of pocket. Not much. Almost every house I have is fully funded by my lender. So
the reason I wanted to touch on that is because so many people be like, oh, well, that's good for Joey, but I don't have money to buy houses. And I know you're not using money, which is why I'm like, I want to make sure to point that out, that you're not using money to buy these houses. You bought 45, you said, this year?
Yeah, 45 this year alone.
45 this year, and you're not using any money. And so I want to get that through people's heads that are using that as an excuse to say, oh, well, I can't do it because I don't have any money, or I don't have any any credit. And you just said, and we're going to go back to it, you were a year away for, I think you were selling bootleg jerseys or something.
Yeah.
And came out and hit the ground running and are crushing it, unprecedented. So
Yep.
what is your plans? What is your do you have a freedom number? Do you have a goal or what you're trying to shoot for?
Well, I already crushed my goal from where I was supposed to be at. I think I wanted to be around like 75, and like that was enough for me to retire off of. And now we're already past that. Now it's like, oh, let's go for 100. Let's go for 120. And I don't really have a number at this time because like I know I love what I do. I love our program. I love helping people out, getting to homes. So I don't really treat it as work. I kind of just treat it as having fun, and I love what I do. But I'm already well beyond my number. That in my first one gets paid off in 6 months, and then it's just slowly sailing down. And I can retire in 6 months if I wanted to.
I love that you said 75 houses would be enough to retire. So you're talking $50,000-$60,000 a month would be enough for you? You'd be able to handle, keep a roof over your head?
I don't even know what we'll be spending the money on at that point, but it's.
I know, but I just love the way you said that. Well, 75 should be enough to retire on.
It should be good, yeah.
Typically, about 10 houses is usually what a normal person would need to retire. And I love that you were like, well, 75 is enough, but.
Absolutely. And back 3 years ago, my number was 12. I just wanted 12 houses, and I got my 12th house, and I was so stoked. I'm like, okay, just 4.5 more years and we're good. And now it's like we're looking back at it, and it's like, well, yeah, it's a whole different ballgame having 75 now.
It's
85.
So, and how is your management going? 75 is a lot to manage. So how are you handling that?
It's actually kind of tough. So like I said, we doubled our portfolio this year. So at the beginning of this year, let me turn my camera around real quick. We were using a chalkboard. We had a chalkboard in my office that we just put the property addresses, and if they paid, if we put a little check mark, and we ran out of space. So we doubled, like I said, we have an online system. It's a Microsoft Excel sheet. We're trying our best to keep up with it. For the first time last month, I forgot about one of my houses. They've been paying on time for over 3 years, and they missed their payment in May. And I was like, I just assumed they paid because they always pay, and they didn't pay. So we're working hard on it. But it's just me and my wife. She's helping along, doing the letters with me, sending out late notices. It is tough, just 2 people managing 80 properties, but we're doing our best. We're doing our best for 2 people. That's all I can say.
That's always my biggest fear. Always my biggest fear has been forgetting a house completely.
Yeah.
Because we close on so many, and then you just give the settlement statement, they add it to a sheet, and then I feel like, especially if there's no tenant in it, or if there is a tenant who didn't pay, that you just forget it even existed.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, I'll be like, wait, didn't we buy that one at 123 Main Street?
Yeah.
And they're just living there. I've had that recurring fear probably for 20 years that I'm going to close on a house and it just gets lost in the paperwork and I forget it. So,
yeah, it's like I know they're there. It was actually my third house I ever bought. It's in Portsmouth, but they've been there for 3 years, and then they always pay on time every month. And I was looking at my notes and like, hey, they didn't pay this month. So,
and have you spoken to them since?
They're not responding to calls and texts, and they're behind 3 months now. So I already started the process. So,
have you driven by and see if they're even still there?
They are still there.
Huh? Because usually when someone's perfect and then they're not, they just picked up and left.
But on the bright side, they're pre-COVID people. They're paying $700 a month. Market values now is like $1,400. So
yep,
I'm not complaining. I would love for them to stay. They're great people. They've been really good to us. But if they don't pay, we'll see how it goes. See how it goes.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
So you said you don't have any plans as far as stopping, but do you have like, let's say this year we're at, what'd you say you're at 86 now?
85.
85. What's your goal to end this year, or do you have a goal of just buy as many as you can?
Well, funny story was, I think I spoke to you in January, and my goal was only 65, and I'm already 20 past that, and I'm only halfway through the year. I'm at like, I really, at this point, it's like I'm fine with, I want to slow down now, a slightly tad bit, start wholesaling more, get them out to people, our friends and our investors. But I think just want to close the year out with an even 100. That's my goal, and I have 3 under contract right now, so that should, if everything goes well with title and everything, I should be at 88 by the end of June. And I feel like I should be able to pull out 12 more this year. It's a small goal, but I definitely want to slow it down and just be at an even 100 at the end of 2023.
And then get them settled and make sure all the management is cut and dry. Yeah,
Exactly.
I feel the same way. So I have like I don't know, 174 or 175 now. And I think we even spoke about this. I've been thinking, let me get to 200. I know it used to be, I wanted to get to 100. Then I had this 167 number on my vision sheet. And now I'm like, let me just get to 200 and then stop buying for a minute so I can get everything settled, because sometimes it feels chaotic when there's so many new ones coming in, new tenant buyers, new properties to add, new insurance, new everything, that I just feel like, let me just get to 200 and then slow things down. And I've spoken with people about it. And then sometimes people are like, but why? Why would you stop? Why would you stop? And I don't know that I'm stopping, but I just feel like I just want to get everything under control and settled.
Absolutely.
So
and I'm the same way. I don't think I'm gonna be stopping. I'm just gonna be slowing down a tad. The last 2 months I bought like 25. So I'm not gonna be stopping. I'm just gonna be slowing down a tad bit, and we'll see where the end of the year takes us.
So your first one, you said, gets paid off in December?
Yeah, my very last payment's December 1st.
That is
fantastic. January 1, month 61, free and clear.
So you have these 85, 86 properties now, and in the first 5 years, as you well know, it's just a churn. Now you are making money because you do a lot of things, and they've gone up a lot in value.
Yeah, absolutely.
But most of the time, for the first 5 years, you really don't make money. It's not until that December 1st date you have coming up that all of a sudden everything changes. And so think about, if you did nothing more, if you just decided, you know what, I'm going to sit in my backyard for the next 4 years and 11 months. In 5 years from now, 4 years and 11 months, I'm guessing, being your last payment, you would have 86 free and clear houses. And I don't know if you've actually fathomed the math on what that means in your
I look at the math all the time. I look at it all the time.
I mean, think about the life. And again, I know a lot of people will say, well, Joey's so lucky, and you are lucky, but you're not. You're lucky in the sense that you started, because the reality is there is no luck. You did the work. You're still doing the work. You get up every day and you do the work. So it's not like, oh, Joey's just lucky, like somebody who just won the lottery or something. You are doing the work. But think about 5 years, if you did nothing else, if you just cut it off today, 5 years from now, what your math looks like. What are you bringing in monthly overall rents, gross rents right now? Not rents, but payments for your slow flips.
Give or take, right? So we have 85 right now. We just closed on 9 of them last week. 6 are still vacant. But I did the math right before I came on this with you, because I knew it was going to be a question you were going to ask me. It's around like $92,000 per month, give or take, for every single thing. That's not including taxes and insurance, of course. Right. So after deduct everything, maybe 70, 75 grand, give or take, per month. But
so now, have you put any thought into, let's suppose you quit the business today, 5 years go by, what do you spend $70,000 a month on?
I can't
do you grasp? Do you really grasp? I'm asking you seriously, because
I don't.
Because we've had conversations, Joey, where you're like, oh, my goal was to get more than you, or this and that. And I always laugh, and I'm like, you'll definitely have more than me, because I'm not really pushing to have more anymore. I still buy when the opportunity's there. But I think about, like what you're just saying, was you get to $70,000 a month coming in free and clear. That's when that stuff's paid off. You know what your living expenses are going to be? I'll tell you. Most people I know, and I can't speak for you or speak for everybody, but most people I know, and I'm talking about even very, very, very high net worth people, average and I'm talking about doing everything in the world, travel, planes, houses, everything, average $30,000 a month. And that's people who are living the lifestyle, like living like a king, which means you're going to have $40,000 a month left over. What does that $40,000 go to? And I'm going to tell you the answer right now. It goes into more investing, because what else would you do with it?
That's my plan. Of course,
it'd be cruel to money to not invest it. So now you're not forced, but you're going to end up investing another $40,000 a month, which now means next year you have even more than that 70 a month or whatever was coming in. And
it is exponentially, every single month is exponentially gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And
what a great problem to have. And so. So a couple things I'm really curious on. Now, there's other people that have, I just did a podcast with one of our guys that has 6, right? Has 6, and he's only started though, maybe 4 months ago. But what would you tell somebody who's just getting started, or they want to be Joey? Everybody wants to be Joey. Everybody's like, oh, how is he doing it? How's he doing it? What would you tell them if they want to have $70,000 a month in 5 years?
So my biggest thing I tell everybody, get started today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next week. So get started today. And I'll give you a little story about me as well. So I first went to one of your seminars, actually. I waited a year and a half before I learned all the information. I learned about slow flips. I learned about everything. I waited 18 months before I even did my first slow flip. And I look back at it now, and I think it's like silly. I regret it. I'm like, if I started 18 months sooner, I would already be free and clear today already if I did that. But I can't complain. I'm only 29, have 85 houses, but start today. Don't wait. If you're watching this video, start looking on Facebook Marketplace, start looking on Craigslist, on Zillow. Look for your slow flips today. Don't wait. Don't hesitate to wait. You're going to regret it in the long run. You want to get started today and start that 5-year clock.
I love it, because that's the biggest regret I ever heard from people. And we have people in the group that are even up to their late 70s.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest regrets I hear from people is, I wish I started sooner. Everybody, that's the common thread always, because like you said, 18 months, you'd already been through that clock with 5, 10, 15 free and clear already. But at least you started when you started. You could have still been waiting today. And somebody watching today, I guarantee you, somebody watching today was in that same event you were 6 years ago, or whatever it was, 6 years ago, and still has all their notes and still has it on their to-do list or their vision board. I'm going to start slow flips. And yet you have 80 and you're about to be free and clear, and they're still waiting to get started. And I hope this is the push that they need to be like, you know what, let's just do it. So 5 years from now, we're not having the same conversation again.
And I tell the people the same exact thing. Just start today. Just start right now. Like, just even if it's just one house can still change your life. But then if you just get 5 per year, 3 per year, it's all life changing. You're talking about an extra $800 a month, and just had to wait out 5 years for it. It's an awesome program, and I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah, I can't wait till 5 years go by just to see. I mean, because I don't know if you even fully fathom what your life's going to look like in 5 years. Like, I don't know if you have an idea of the magnitude of the amount of money that is.
And
like,
I do, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know what else I would change. I love my lifestyle now. I love where I live. I love everything about me and my wife's family, and we're about to have a baby, so that's obviously our one big change. But I don't see what else I can spend the money on besides simply just buying more houses and possibly expanding the house in 5, 6, 7 years. But I don't. Yeah, it's overwhelming to think about it.
It's a lot of money. I mean, that when you think about that magnitude of money every month, it's one thing if you had a $2 million or $5 million, you can spend it and it goes away. But this isn't going away. This is every single month. There's another 60, 70 grand, and that's if you stop today. Every single month.
No intentions of doing that. So
right.
Keep buying and buying.
I know, and that's why I was wondering. I was thinking about it before we spoke, and I said, I wonder if Joey knows just how much money he's going to have in 5 years, and it's something. So I read a lot of books, right? So I'm in the middle of reading one right now, and they said something that I really thought was interesting, and it kind of applies to what you're talking about right now. And they were saying how some people who are not entrepreneurs or not in the business we're in, people like that look negatively on us, right? Saying all you guys ever think about is money, right? And that's their mindset. All you ever think about is money. I don't want to be like that. And the book was talking about, he said, actually, it's the exact opposite. We live in such a way that we never have to think about money. It's when you have none that all you can think about is money, because every meal you go to, you have to worry about how much is it. Every bill that comes in, you have to worry about how am I going to pay it. When you're in a store, how am I going to pay it? But you're creating a life and living in such a way that you never have to think about money again. It's the exact opposite of what those people are saying. All you think about is money. I'm like, no, it's the opposite. We're making it so we never have to think about money.
Yeah. I don't remember the last time, I know it kind of sounds a little bratty, whatever. I remember the last time I looked at a price of really anything. So, if I'm getting gas or going to the grocery store, if I'm going to dinner, I get what I want and get what I want to eat, get what I want to drink, and it's part of what you do. So
I know, and I believe me, I know we go to dinner or get drinks, and sometimes it could be $200, $300, $500, whatever it is, and it doesn't even register. It's not
exactly.
It's and
it's
I was thinking that. Yeah, I was thinking as I read that book, I'm like, it's exactly right. It's not that we always think about money. It's so we never have to think about money.
Exactly. It's like I said, the financial freedom. That's what it's all about. That's why I got into the program. That's why I'm buying these houses nonstop. Because it's already set me free in a stance, but I'm nowhere even close to where I'm going to be in a few years. So.
And you're still you're 29 years old. So, I mean, I feel like I get tired. So I'm 49 and some people act like I'm still so young. And I could see my bones creaking a little and feeling a little tired, but you're 29. I'm like, could you imagine if you stayed on your energy and path that you're on now for another 10 years or 20 years? Could you imagine? I mean, I'm getting to 200 houses. You're talking, you'll be at 300, 400, 500 if you wanted to. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you wanted to, the amount of I mean, of infrastructure, and then you can hire somebody and do all your management, but it's still the amount
That's
that you
definitely
can
one of our
do.
goals.
Being at your age now to be having that many already, I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, it's unlimited to what you can do.
And that's my wife and I talked about. I think it was actually yesterday or 2 days ago. Like, what am I going to do after? Because of course, I can retire in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But then, what do I do with my life? Like, I love doing what I do, but there'll be so much time. Like this week, I had nothing planned. So I just drove. I had checks. I drove to all my different banks. I usually mobile deposit them, but I was bored. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bank, go deposit some checks, and I went to the PO box and just killed 4 hours just doing admin work because I had nothing else to do. And I don't know if I didn't do what I do now, I don't know what else I'll be doing. So
Well, and I'll give you an answer to that, which I don't fully have formatted for myself yet, but I know it's what the answer is. And I know this from people who have been here before me and before you,
yeah,
is you will end up in some way, shape, or form giving it away. And you might not even fathom that yet, because right now we're still in accumulation mode. But in the end, when you get to your 5 years and you're bringing in 70 and it's costing you 30, you may be giving away $5,000 or $10,000 a month, whatever it is, either through an organization or just a random to whatever.
Yeah.
But you're going to get more personal satisfaction out of that than out of anything else that you're doing. And it's very, very rare that someone gets that opportunity to do what you're going to have the opportunity to do, where you can help whoever, random person, it doesn't matter who it is, where you see a situation and you can give them $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000. It doesn't change anything for you, but it can completely flip their whole life on its head. Yeah. And then the biggest value, and this is the biggest value you can give people besides helping them with a situation or a money thing, is helping them to learn to do exactly what you did.
Yeah,
that's the biggest value, because now you're not helping them once, you're helping them for their entire future.
Price tag on that.
Yeah. And you will, in time, it doesn't have to be now, and it might be 5 years, it might be 10 years, in time, in my opinion anyway, that's where you'll get your joy from, is when someone else is going to be like, you have 500 houses, show me how. And you'll spend time with them. And now, even if it's just one person that you set on that path, that's going to be your biggest source of pride. You're going to be like, oh, this guy, look at him now, he's got 50 houses or whatever it is. And it was because of you. And so I know that's the way it ends. And again, not from my own, but from I've seen the people that are steps and steps ahead of me. That's where it always goes to, where the enjoyment and value comes from. So again, it's hard to fathom. Even your numbers. I'm like, how? Just because of your age, I'm like, you're going to be 34 and have $70,000 a month coming in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to think about.
And you're going to really need to, and we'll talk offline with this, but you're really going to need to get into tax strategies as well before you end up giving away huge portions of it. And there's a lot of planning that's going to have to go into that massive amount of money to not be giving it away to the government. Give away as little as possible.
Check this week and it wasn't pretty, so it wasn't
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of it, but we got to do it. Everybody's like, oh, I don't want. I've heard people act like they don't want to make money because they don't want to pay taxes, and I'm like, listen to what you're saying.
I know. I've heard people say the same exact thing.
It kills me. They're like, well, I'm not going to do that because I'll have to pay so much in taxes. I'm like, so you just choose not to make money, so you don't give them their cut. I'm like, all right, then you stay broke and do what you want to do.
Yeah, what's funny is I think it was like word for word from one of your classes I took a while ago. One of my wife's friends said the same thing. It's like, well, you realize how much you have to pay in taxes, right? And we're like, oh, you just said like word for word what you said.
Yeah.
I'm like, we looked at each other like, yeah.
It's
pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, if you were in 5 years from now and say you did another thing and you're getting $70,000 a month, and let's say you had no deductions, no depreciation, no deductions at all, and the government's telling you that we need 25 grand of that every single month, that's a lot of money, and that sucks. But guess what? You're still getting to keep 50 grand a month.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, so you do it. That's it.
Yeah,
that's the way it goes. I mean, that's part of life.
I'll gladly pay them every month and keep them happy. And
I prefer not to pay them, and I prefer that we come up with tax strategies.
Of course, you can.
However, if that's what most people's argument is they don't want to pay the taxes. I'm like, listen, I'm not going to spite myself just so I don't give them their cut. That's it. We give them their cut. Yeah, that is what it is. So Joey, I get so many people that are always asking me, ask Joey, how does he do it? How does he do it? Where are you getting them from? So, and I know you mentioned you do a lot through Facebook Marketplace and not Marketplace, but Facebook groups, and you're very active on there. Is that where all of your deals are coming through, or you also do a lot of networking? I know you know a lot of people now.
A lot of my stuff locally in Hampton Roads comes from networking. I don't do any marketing out here. I stopped doing signs. I stopped doing postcards. So my last two deals I closed on one last week. I'm closing on one on Monday. Well, Tuesday, because Monday is a holiday. It came from his wholesalers. I've never been met him before. They say, "Hey, Joey, I saw you on YouTube." And so the first one, he had a buyer for a house. It's in Suffolk, Virginia. I was on his email blast. He initially started at, I think, emailed me like 78,000 or something pretty high for the area. And I offered 45. I was like, I'm not afraid to put a low offer out there. And he laughed at me. He said, no, thank you, blah, blah, blah. 3 weeks go by. His buyer backed out. He gave it to me the house for $2,000 above what his contract price was. So I got it for $48,000.
Nice.
And it was a steal. It was a hell of a deal. And the only reason that came from because he knew I can deliver. He knew my reputation. He knew I can come through. If he sold it to some random guy in the streets, they wouldn't be able to close in 5-6 days. So it worked out perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Let's use that house as an example now. Run me the numbers. You're buying it for 48. You're going to borrow or are you paying cash?
I borrowed on that house. I think I paid about $1,000 out of pocket for it.
And then your monthly payment is going to be
$1,100.
$1,100. I think it's 11, 12, 22.
11, 12, 20. Correct. Yeah.
And then you selling it for how much? Sales price, monthly payment.
My plans are $5,000 down, $1,295 a month, and probably $169. It's on about an acre and a half of land and stuff. Like it's a big lot.
So $1,275 a month, and this is where people get hung up with the slow flip thing. Although I wish they can just see your end result right now. They get hung up because they're like $1,275 a month. My payment's going to be $1,100, and I got to pay the taxes or whatever whatever's in it. Is like, oh, I'm not going to make any money, and I'm like, you're right, you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to make any money. 60 months from now, that $1,275 is coming home with you. But for the first 60 months, you're paying off your lender, and I love that you've embraced that because it doesn't matter. You're free, Joey, to buy as many as you want because you're not using any money.
Exactly what you're saying. It's like I'm 40 or 55 months in right now and made no money on these houses with the loans, and it's almost time. It's almost month 61, so it's almost
just about to go over the cliff now, where the money starts to.
We're very, very excited for that.
I love it. And, and once you get 10, 20, 30 of them free and clear, we got to have you back on so we could talk about the difference in abundance. It's just going to come and you're going to be like, oh, we get to keep it. Because I went through it. Believe me, I went through it myself. I started this in 2011 doing the slow flip model. Now, I've been investing since 94, but slow flips we started in 2011. And it's a struggle. I mean, it was like between taxes. I remember getting tax bills and I'm like, well, there's no money to pay them. So we'll hang on to them and pay when we could. In 2016, everything changed because all of a sudden now they started free and clear every month, another 2, 3. And all of a sudden now it's the opposite where there's just money piled up in the accounts and bills come in, you write them and, there's just an abundance. And but the first 5 years, it has to be for those who are willing to struggle because there's and I don't know if I already said this to you, but I love this saying. They always say, if you do what's easy, life will be hard. And if you do what's hard, life will be easy. And I think about that saying always with slow flips because slow flips are taking the hard path. Instead of saying, I want to make money next month, you're saying, I'm going to do what's hard, which means I don't make any money for 60 months.
No money at all.
But then my life is easy because I get paid forever. Instead of this other program that everybody teaches and loves, the refi, everything out. And they're like, no, we're making cash flow right now. I said, yeah. And then you're going to struggle along with that tiny amount forever, where we just have 60 months, and then we are free and clear.
And it's a short 60 months too. It'll just go right by. So
it flies by.
Absolutely.
All right, Joey, I don't want to hold you all day, but give me words of wisdom, something you want to tell somebody besides do it right now, which you already shared. If somebody's like, well, how is Joey doing this? I want to follow in his footsteps. What do they do, Joe?
So I'm going to give you my secret. I don't think I've told anybody this before. Well, I'm sure I've told plenty of people before, but never on a podcast like this. Go on Facebook groups, click the subscribe button on the top, get notified of new posts. Do that. That way, when someone posts something in the Facebook group, you're going to get notified. Your phone will ding. Hey, John Smith posted in Virginia Real Estate Investors, new house for sale. And you get notified the moment it goes public. So
that's something I'm not even aware of. I see when I scroll. So I'm going to do that now when I hang up. Okay.
Every group on Facebook, you're going to set up for notifications. It's very easy. And that's all I do. Like I'm on my phone a lot. Yes, I'm always on my phone, but I'm not always on Facebook. But when that notification pops up, I'll click on it. If it's a house that works out for me, I'll obviously go for it. I'll send a message and like it and comment it. But if not, just ignore it. It only takes 5 seconds of your time. So
Fantastic. Can you
Very
imagine
simple.
building a business like that just from sitting on your phone and hitting
Yeah.
yes and
Just
replying and
clicking a post, and yeah, absolutely.
clicking a post? I absolutely love it. All right, Joey. Well, I thank you very, very much. I'm sure
thank you for
everybody's going to
having
get a
me.
lot of value out of this. So I thank you very much for coming on. Go enjoy your day today. We have a beautiful sunshiny day out. And I know,
Yep.
we didn't talk about this. I'm going to talk about one more thing. You're a month away from being a dad.
Very
Right?
excited.
Is it a month? You're about a month now, right?
A month and a week or so, about 35 days, give or take.
And then
Almost
everything
done.
changes once again. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. And I look forward to seeing you soon, and have an absolutely fantastic day with your 86 houses, and go out there and crush it.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for having me. Talk to you soon, Scott.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye.